Oh, you know what? I'm gonna try another trick that I do often. This is such a weird head. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Like, I feel like if it's not already, should be like the official art form of Burning Man.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. So handsome, oh my goodness.
Alright, like I said, now I'm gonna start going in with darker colors.
Didn't think about this being so fluffy. That there'd be so many little shapes I gotta get in there. Right, I have to draw a color. I do not care. Odd mixes of color. Oh geez, I got sidetracked. I had a story.
Kinda hot mess.
In the best way. What? Foreshortened and all that.
But then you boots the dank shit.
I grew up being an absolute dork. I'm an actor, musician, an artist. You're a chaos goblin that will be drawing. I am locked out of any other layer. And I am here for a live stream. Thank you for joining.
Hello friends, happy Tuesday, welcome to Live with Lava Sub. I am Lava Sub, but you can call me Flower if you want to. I have been working on this piece for a couple of weeks on stream. I've been working on it for months. Aside from that, I've got a movie going in the background. I'm ready to start painting. Let me know in the chat what you think. Ask me any questions. And fair warning, there will be plenty of adult language and potentially discussions of things that could be triggering. I go all over the place. My brain wanders. It's a real chaotic mess in here. But we're gonna have some fun. I promise you that. So I'm gonna get right to it, folks. I've been itching. I just want to start painting. Now I gotta move a cat off of the chair. Excuse me, little guy. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I've been working on this for months now. This is a piece for my aunt, however you like to say it. I've never gotten comfortable with aunt. It feels too British. So I usually say aunt, but it does lead to confusion. In fact, I remember different aunts, but I was when I was younger. At one point, I was hanging out. It was a family gathering, and I told somebody offhand, ants are the future, and my Aunt Lil says something along the lines of, "Oh, well, that's so sweet of you to say, Weston. You're such a sweet kid." And I'm like, "Not you. I'm talking about ants, like the bug, because I'm a very nice person who's always been very thoughtful." Yeah, I'm just messing around with a little bit of white. I didn't love that. Got a whole bunch of brushes kind of stashed away next to me. Oh, well now I like it. Okay, let's keep that. Should probably remember to use my draper getting paint off instead of my clothes. Trying to get better at that, but you know how it is. Oh, and I was saying, yeah, I've got a little flick on in the background for my own amusement. I'm sorry that we can't share that with you. However, I will tell you, I'm watching Cable Guy. Not necessarily a traditional seasonal film, but one of my favorites. I think Jim Carrey does an incredible performance. I love the kind of material that it's satirizing, things like Taxi Driver, kind of character study pieces like that, but does it in a very clever way that also satirizes the original pieces. A little more brush, I think. There we go. That's much better. Oh, that's still very bright. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get a little more blue. I think I'm gonna need a little black. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Nice dark blue. Huh. Laid down some color, but like I was saying, it's a little bit thicker than what I was intending here. So I'm gonna go in with a clean brush, a wet brush. I'm just gonna try to smooth this out here. Kind of even up this transition between the white and the blue. You're gonna see me making a lot of funny moves today. I'm having some weird lighting stuff happening. There we go. Much less intense. Which are already really heavily contrasted, so I'm trying not to make this like unviewable. I need to move the water bottle and the water cup so I can reach both. How's your view, y'all? Am I blocking you? I feel like I keep getting closer and closer. I'm going in on the wet paint. Just a little bit of white. And a lot of water. And this is acrylic, so just so you're not, just so you know, in case you're curious. Like I've mentioned in past streams, I've tried oil. It's not my thing, I don't think. Maybe someday. Very expensive to get into in the first place. Now I grab the dry brush, that 1 inch. I'm just kind of moving the paint back and forth. Give us a little bit more of that. Give us that feeling of a wave, you know? Alright, moving these color transitions out. Alright, think about which way the wave is going. Oh, good call. Thank you for the heads up. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I'm at Lord Drippy. Oh boy, made that a minute ago, I guess. It's already dried, pretty much. That's okay. Grabbing a little dry fan brush. Notice we're getting a little bit more opaqueness over here than I intended, so I'm just gonna spread that out a bit. Now I'm gonna go back into that lighter blue that I accidentally mixed up earlier. I am going to just bring that little bit of that into this wave. It is going to be catching some white. But I needed it to be even first so that it could make the most sense. Yeah, we've got a little bit different setup going for you today. I almost forgot to mention. Hope you're enjoying it. Got the image of me working right alongside a bigger shot of the canvas. Yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Like, infiltrating my brain. I'm gonna go a little brighter even. Clean that brush off. Got plenty of water on it here. Gonna dry it off a little bit. I want to get some white back into this. I think it's picking up quite a bit of light. I don't know if this fan brush is exactly what I want in the moment, but I think it's gonna be okay. Barely touching here. It's kind of mixing on the canvas. Yeah, I'm just blending a little bit here. I've got a little white on my brush and blue that's still wet on the canvas. I'm just doing a little blendy here. Just kind of picking up colors and dragging them around, and then picking up a new color in this wet brush. I'm kind of going goblin mode right now. That's okay. That's what I am. Alright, we're gonna get a nice light. Really go hard. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Oh boy. Enter deep concentration mode. Sorry. Let me fill you in on what I'm doing. So, I'm actually just fussing, if I'm being completely honest with you. I have no idea what I'm trying to achieve here. It feels so close to done that I'm kind of just trying stuff out to see if it works. so far, it's all kind of been not necessarily what I'm trying to do here. So, that's okay. Even if it is a little bit frustrating. Definitely before stream, I felt like I knew what I was doing here. So I don't know what happened. But that's okay. You live and learn, right? Alright, so I'm just going in, maybe a little more water on this brush. I'm gonna try just moving to a totally different part of the canvas here. See if that jogs my memory. I had the weirdest dreams last night, y'all. There's just this one odd phrase that I remembered, like, nonsense word, reading it. It was just something as soon as I woke up, I wrote it down. Just nonsense. Okay, I'm liking this. This is kind of what I was thinking I was doing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sam. It is kind of looking like an art now. Isn't it? Yeah, I remember I wanted to kind of like make this odd U shape with the waves that kind of follow the shape of that island background. Pick up a little more paint on this brush. Hopefully it's not too much. I'll try and tap it out before I go in here. Man, this lighting situation drives me that. It's so you can't probably see it in the camera. There's a little bit of glare, I'm sure, for you, just a little. But for me, it's like, oh boy. It's like I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm doing a lot of the time because, especially with the wet paint, it's like the light is immediately catching it. And so I don't really get to see what it looks like until it's dry. Someday we will have better lighting. Right now, and you could be a part of that dream. We've got our Patreon. You can check it. It'll be a link available in the Disco, or in the the chat here. We've got shirts available. Can I hype that one shirt that we don't have available yet? Uh-huh. Ooh. Okay. So, I want to tell you all about one shirt that we don't even have up yet. I've gotten permission from our amazing producer to do so. We have, for our Ignore the Bird, Follow the River podcast, a new shirt coming out. That'll be available in 2 weeks. We'll do a little bit more promotion for it around the release of the episode that will be coming out in a couple of weeks here. But it is our... you might remember us, if you are a follower of the podcast, you might remember us not too long ago talking about Mad Mardigan and Willow's adventures, and talking about this one line that Mad Mardigan has near the kind of like top of the third act, when everything seems at its darkest. Willow is... Huh? Yeah, apex. Yeah, third act. Mad Mardigan looks at Willow, who's just gotten the Laura Dannon taken, is at his most vulnerable, and he looks at him and he just says, "Can you ride?" to Willow. And Willow steels himself and knows that his journey is not quite over. We will be coming out with a shirt with that exact phrase on it in 2 weeks, featuring some art that I did myself for our Mad Mardigan episode of Ignore the Bird, Follow the River. So we're super excited about this, and we can't wait for you to see this. I'll have TikToks out soon, all about it. I'll have all kinds of other materials you can look at and determine if that's something that would be for you. As I was saying previously, this is one of the best ways to help us grow, get new equipment, bring you better content, and just continue improving, growing on what we've been doing. I'm really proud of the work that we've been doing over the last year. I know that we all are, and it has not been easy, my friend. I don't know if any of you listening are in that same space of producing content so that you can survive, but plenty of my friends are, and us at Nerdcrafty, we're trying to come together on this one, work towards common goals and all that. And it has been one hell of a ride. So we're trying to bring you the best stuff we possibly can. And like I was saying, you can be a part of this mission, you can be a part of our quest if you so choose. Through Patreon, through buying merch. We will have more and more coming out soon. Keep your eyes out. We've got all kinds of stuff that's going to be available to you soon. That we're all really excited about. Not to mention our new show, Sidequested, which I am a part of. You can find a trailer for that. It's not out on the YouTube yet. You can find it in our last episode of Ironheart during the intermission, about halfway through. Yes, and if you would like to watch it without looking through the episode, You can find it on our Patreon as one of our perks. Definitely give it a check, or give it a look. Yes, that is, my wonderful producer is reminding me that is available at all levels of our Patreon. You can check out that trailer. And part of why I was fussing so much is I knew I was eventually going to have to go in with a tiny little brush and couldn't do my big strokes all the way across the canvas thing that I prefer doing most of the time. But here we go. Getting started with this just to try and draw these fade these colors into each other. We have a light source coming at us from over here, so all of these waves are going to essentially want to be their brightest right around this area, kind of in this triangle. Or, I mean, really it's there's a flat surface, a circular light source coming from way, way, way far away, lighting an entire area all at once, evenly. So, everything that has a peak, because it's nighttime, is going to have that reflection with this water. I know that down here is an area I need to jump back into and darken up a lot, make more definite. I think that might be something I do pretty quick here. Brilliant. Oh, man. Is that ruining the lighting? Alright. Thank you. Oh boy. Cable Guy's almost over. Let me know in the chat what you think I should watch next. I mean, basically, if you name a horror movie, there's a high likelihood I own it already. I've been watching these on DVD in my Xbox, well, my roommate's Xbox 360. That somehow still turns on. Incredible. Sorry? That's amazing. It's so funny that my producer's telling me they have two 360s that still run, but that was not my experience with the Xbox 360. I think my brother went through two in like a couple of years. One was like, I think we got warranty on it because it got red rings like super fast.
Yeah, so I currently do have two working Xbox 360s, but that was after having one of them fail, and I sent it to the factory, and they sent me a replacement. And then when, at the time I was taking dance lessons and I had an amateur dance partner, at the time he found out that I had a shitty Xbox 360, and was like, oh, well, you can just have mine, I don't really play it anymore, I got a new PlayStation. So I ended up with, like, I think it's the Gears of War edition. And then I have, like, the regular white Xbox 360. But I did have to go through, like, several meltdowns before. So don't think that it was just, like, magically I got two working ones.
I see. Yeah, I'm not in any way a fan of Microsoft's work. but I don't begrudge anyone who jams the Microsoft gaming consoles, because they're often plentiful enough that used, they are affordable, and boy do I know that playing games, even if it's not the ideal circumstances, better than not playing games.
Yeah, it was nice to have. I got the 360 specifically to play Viva Pinata for when I was feeling depressed. That game is so colorful, it is like serotonin directly into your eye sockets.
That's awesome. Everyone say hi to Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hi, everybody. I'm on mic for right now. I might hop off later, but I might as well stay on for a little bit.
Yeah, no pressure to take it. You got things you gotta do, but I appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, no problem.
I'm just trying to figure out how I want to make these clouds. I think I want a fan brush. I don't know why I keep going in with these chisels that I keep not wanting to use.
You need a fluffy brush.
I need a fluffer. A fluffy brush. Sorry, that's a different thing.
Definitely wrong type of stream for that. We gotta be on a totally different platform. Oddly enough, we got one more viewer when you said that, though.
Welcome.
It's anonymous, so I'm not calling anybody out.
I'm sure they appreciate that.
We see you, we recognize you, and we love you as you are.
Damn right. Oh man. Okay, 2 running.
Oh no!
That's okay. I need to pick out a new movie anyway. Name a horror movie, somebody.
Chat's a little bit slow today. Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh damn, I only have Nightmare on Elm Street on VHS.
Oh.
And my
Okay.
yeah, it's not connected
How
at
about
the moment.
classic Hellraiser?
I do have classic Hellraiser.
There you
Did
go.
you know Clive Barker's been out since '96?
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I did not know that.
Icon. We stand the bitch. Yeah. I love Clive Barker stuff. It's kind of a selective thing for me. Like I have to be in the mood, and some of it I'm not a huge fan of. But classic Hellraiser, I mean, you don't get much better. Definitely one of my favorites of the era. Yeah,
It's so different and so interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing else was coming out that was like it at that time.
And it feels a lot like a modern evolution on a lot of the pulp kind of authors of the 30s through the 60s that I really enjoy. But definitely with its own perspective and outlook on the way the world works. I love it. So, yeah. Great choice. Thank you.
It's one of my favorite just for the sheer makeup artistry.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
when I look at horror films, I tend to look at it through that lens because I've worked in so many haunted houses and put so much horror makeup on people.
Oh, totally. Of course. Okay, what do we need? We need light blue. But not that light. Then it'll be too much. Should I play it widescreen or full frame? The old DVD.
Oh, wow. I mean,
Before
I
there
always...
was more
No, go ahead.
consumers, before there was more consumer savvy kind of attitudes around like aspect ratios and stuff like that.
I always tend to go with widescreen if that's the option because you do see more of what you're intended to see.
Yeah. No one has a square TV. I mean, not no one, but it's a lot less common now to have
It's super rare.
Right. Okay. I think we're getting closer to what I'm looking for.
Is it a happy little cloud, or is it feeling something different?
Hard to say at this juncture. Moon. Moonlight. Moon. Moonlight. Moon. You know what? I want some purple. I think that's what's missing.
Mmm.
Forgot how much purple I put into sky. Ooh,
The
the
sky.
sky already.
Yeah. If you wanted, you can even like sneak in a tiny bit of that green, like a reflection off of the water. Like that itty bitty bit of green that you put into the watercolor. Like there was like a sea foamy kind of green.
Oh yeah. Totally.
You got a palette, man, use it. It's one of my new favorite things to do on Clip Studio is to download palettes and start playing around with like what I can make with them.
I love it.
Alright. What do we look like?
Nice thing about clouds is they come in so many shapes. There's hardly ever a wrong answer.
Right? Dry brush.
I was just gonna ask. Alright, I'm gonna hop off mic for a little bit. If the need calls for it, I will return.
Thanks for joining, Sam. Take care.
Not a problem, I will still be here for you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, y'all. Feel a little flat to you? Feels a little flat to me. Yeah, I'm not loving it. Going for kind of a big fluffy here, but not quite coming out the way I want it to. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kind of like wash off that brush, go in with whatever remaining paint is in there, mostly the blue. I'm just gonna try and even that top edge on here. I'm gonna draw it up. Use the background color to kind of provide a shadow. I'm gonna kind of go deeper into it though. Not bad. Eh? I can tell. Save that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there you are. Not exactly doing what I want. I'm just gonna wipe, start over again in a second. Trying to keep that vertical stroke that I had going. Yeah, no, I mean, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. Because everything's so, because everything's so dark currently, I'm trying to mix the right shade of cloud, I think is part of what's happening. And part of why I might be a little bit hesitant to go in with a darker, or a more steadfast paint layer. You know what I'm doing is second guessing everything I'm doing on this canvas. So I'm gonna switch it up. I don't think I was meant to finish this piece, and that's totally okay. Can we see this okay, Sam? Okay. So this, I don't even care. This is an old canvas. I never even, I started putting paint on it last week. And I wasn't really trying to do anything. I'm just using the color that I was using on my, on the big canvas. On this. When I had realized that I was through doing whatever color I had been doing, I threw the remainder on this thing. So, I'm just going to basically do the exact same thing today. With the paint that we started with that other piece that is still on my palette. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff with this. But mostly, I kind of want to make a mess. I'm not really trying to do anything specific. I think that was kind of my ruin today. I'm just gonna smack some paint on this canvas. See what it looks like when we're done, huh? Loading up a couple colors. Just gonna lay them down. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Oh, alright. I know what I want. Grabbing a palette knife. This is one of my oldest pieces of paint equipment. Had this for a long time, and it is one of my all-time favorites. A nice thick edge, but then a couple of thinner ones you can use to do more detailed kind of stuff. Oh, mentioning I've been on my horror binge for the season. Is there any horror movies that y'all have been watching that you really enjoy? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious what y'all are watching. Oh, that's right. There's live chat on YouTube as well. I forgot we're dual streaming for the second time now today, folks. I'm so glad we're able to bring you all kinds of new stuff. Always trying to improve here at Nerdcrafty. Sorry? Beautiful. I take my socks off before I forget and get paint all over them. Oh, here, I'll show you. I made a got a fancy gift. I don't know if this in focus, but I got a little, like, Hershey's Kiss kind of paint dot. Basically just hardened before I could use it. So, I'm gonna put that. I know I'm not the only one, but let me know if you're one of the weirdos like me that saves all of their dried paint, either in the ones that end up kind of getting stuck in between on your lid and whatnot, or anywhere else. I cannot allow myself to waste things. Oh. I'm seeing something here. I'm not sure what it is yet. Oh, okay. That makes a difference, don't it? See, before, because this is, you know, a third of the painting, it looked much more like, I'll show you, get this impression that there's this big open sky, right? With this kind of land down below completely deprioritized. And you flip it, suddenly this is the sky, and this is a 2/3 of the canvas is just this almost like river, mountain river or something like that. You seeing what I'm seeing? Let me know in the chat or in the comments. Yeah, this is kind of what I this might seem insane, but this is exactly what I do most of the time when I'm working in acrylic. Never, like, that piece, the piece for my aunt, that is not what I do. Like, it's way too straightforward, it's way too strict. It doesn't make sense to me, like in a direct way. I have to sit there and painstakingly go over it. I have to be in the right headspace. As you can tell, it can be kind of frustrating for me, because it's just not what I do. I love my aunt. I want to give her what she wants. She wanted to, yeah, get a seascape, so I'm going to do her a seascape, but, you know, it's not something that a job I would take on for most people. I don't like doing it. Brings me very little joy. Just causes me stress. Yeah, while we're sitting here waiting for this to dry, I'm gonna find some other canvases about this size and show off a lot of the other stuff I've done, just because we're waiting for canvases to dry. I spent a lot of yesterday kind of cleaning off pieces that had accumulated some dust, and then I started putting some paint on. Actually, I started putting paint on this yesterday. Made some adjustments to this. It's an older piece, but it's kind of ready for more paint, I think. I might just start on this one next. Sure. Oh. Nope. 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 Think about it. Think about it. just using a little bit of colored water. Try and mark out what I'm thinking here. It's a very odd shape and face. I think the inspiration for a lot of this was like, pretty sure I was watching Gerard Depardieu in Cyrano de Bergerac. One of my favorite stories, really. I haven't seen the newest version of it yet with Peter Dinklage, but I was really excited to see that announcement. Them changing up the kind of like traditional way that it's been told and doing something really different with it, especially like with a little person actor as the role, kind of like an actual sign of marginalization. Having a big nose isn't necessarily going to get you outcast from society. And that's not what Cyrano was. Like, Cyrano wasn't an outcast as much as he was just like, he felt ugly, and that's why the whole story happens, is because he didn't feel attractive. But that same theming is really easily mapped over to someone who's socially, whose people have socially not been looked at as like actual people for centuries. So I'm really excited to see how they do that. But yeah, Cyrano, big fan, big nose. That's, I think, where I was coming from with it. Yeah. I'm out of coffee again. Oh no! Alright, I think I remember what glue I was using here. I didn't mix it, obviously. Or maybe it's not obvious, I don't know. Oh, let's see. It's time to get some more of this. I got a toothpaste tube this blue paint. There we go. Knew there was still some left in you. There we go. Okay. Where'd my draw fall? Ah. I don't know what made me want to paint the crease in this dude's forehead green, but I've been mad at that decision since I did it. So I'm going to remedy that right the fuck now. One thing I've noticed as I've gotten older and kept painting, I'm way less interested in making things work from a point where I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy I'm finishing. I feel like a lot of my stuff in the past, I was constantly trying to make things that I didn't want to work for one reason or another, clients or stubbornness, any number of things really. But yeah, I would rather change up what I'm doing than sit there frustrated, struggling with something that I don't even like. What's the point of that? Who told me that was okay? Water. I should do a whole piece just my knives. I haven't done one of those in a while, and I really miss it. But I love palette knife work. Any fans of Francis Bacon in chat? That was a big part of what I'm like going through a lot of those pieces yesterday. I was realizing how big an influence Francis Bacon's work was on mine. I don't know if it's something perceptible from an audience standpoint, but definitely something that I was noticing yesterday. Yeah. I don't know. What would you say some of my influences are, judging from your perspective? Know in the comments or in chat? Because it's weird and varied, definitely. Well, I think it's obvious that I'm not classically trained or anything. Actually, it's a pretty interesting thing. I was working at a car dealership in the service department for a long time, and I hated it, and it was really depressing. People hated me. Not my thing. I was not very good at it. So I remember at a certain point to just like not be angry at my life or everyone around me. I just started looking at artists that I already knew I liked. I was really into comic books, especially at the time. And I was making pretty good money there, despite how unhappy it made me. So I was able to buy quite a few. I had like comics on like the, in the weekly subscription box where you go to the store and they're like, yeah, I've got your comics on hold for you, ready to go. I was getting into a lot of that stuff, collecting quite a few comic books, and so I had a lot of artists that I already enjoyed, but those artists led me to new artists, and before I knew it, on my breaks, I was looking through, like, I was Googling, like, different art movements and artists from history. First starting with, like, the pulp era, Wally Wood, and Chelsea Bonestell, and all the greats of that era. Frazetta, whew. But that led me, like, to Goya and Francis Bacon and like art movements like Dada and Futurism and all kinds of other fun stuff that really took my imagination away. Like, I mean, Renee Magritte is another big one for me. An artist that, like, when I found their stuff, it really resonated with me on, like, this guttural kind of level. Yeah, surrealism, and that's kind of my jam, you know. I like a lot of. I mean, there's plenty of artists that do very realistic work. Whose art I love, you know. Caravaggio is one of my favorites. Saying Francisco Goya. And those two both really knew how to compose an image and light that image and add a lot of drama to a scene, which, hey, I'm an actor, of course that's what I'm looking for. But yeah, I never got into, like, a lot of the more, like, Renaissance artists or anything like that. It wasn't necessarily my jam. I can appreciate a lot of that stuff, but it was never, like, something that really pulled me in, you know? I like weird shit. What am I supposed to say, you know? Ugh, I hate this lighting. It's driving me crazy. That's okay. That looks great. I'm fine with that. Alright. Oh, you know, we're kind of missing an eyelid. You just have these weird sunken holes for eye sockets, don't you? Let's change that up. Grabbing a new brush. Ooh, I like you. Come here. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. I hadn't thought about looking over at this movie in a minute. Okay. Whew. Okay, adjust that real quick. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. Alright. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, this brush tastes like ass. That's unfortunate. Not in a good way either. A select few of you will know what I'm talking about. And may you go achieve it. Holy howdy. What a wild week. I don't know if anyone cares about the news, but it has been a interesting few days. You know, I don't think I ever, when I was a teenager, and remember so clearly Kanye West saying George Bush doesn't care about black people. I never in my life thought he would eventually be wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter while standing next to Candace Owens in Paris on Fashion Week. What a curious and fucked up world we live in. Also sad news, right before we started stream, I found out that Angela Lansbury passed. I was just watching Bedknobs and Broomsticks. It's one of my favorite movies, and she is absolutely a delight in it. An icon. And of course everyone remembers her from Murder, She Wrote, and from Beauty and the Beast. But Bedknobs was one of those movies that I watched a ton as a kid. I love the big fantasy world. I love the element of witchcraft, fantasy. I still love the music in that movie. Every song's kind of a banger. So, just want to say rest in peace. We stand forever, Angela. Okay, I'm gonna take a couple minutes. I'll be right back, folks. Alright, folks, we're back. I just had to use the restroom real quick. Yeah. So, made a little progress on here. I think what I want to do is go back into the area under the nose, trying to find that a little better. Yeah, it's just a little too bright over here. Did anyone just see me jump? That was amazing. Hellraiser still doing his job. What? Totally depends. I don't typically in acrylic do any shadowing. A lot of my most of my work is very flat. This piece is just a little different. So for this, what I'm doing is trying to essentially just make it still pretty flat, but also give it some dimension. And for right now, that really meant trying to darken up this area before I even really go into what I would consider like the final stages of the piece. Just because this ended up so much lighter than the work I started doing last night, and I had to wait for it to dry before I continued forward. So right now I'm just trying to color correct, essentially, a lot of what I started on this piece. Alright, folks. It's been a quiet Tuesday for most of us here. We've got about a half hour left. Have any burning questions about work I'm doing or Nerdcrafty? Now is the time. I don't know if you caught our announcement, but my brother, my comrade Zach, has been going through some stuff, and we're trying to fill Sundays up. So if you've ever wanted to play with us, now might be the perfect opportunity to hit us up and inquire about exactly that. We're trying to make some adjustments to our schedule to help our brother out. Now, as I say this, I know that we are going to have some stuff available, hopefully fairly soon, to try and draw up some support for our friend. I mean, Zach's one of my oldest best buds, and without him, I genuinely wouldn't be here. He saved my ass in a very real way back when we were much younger, and I would do anything for that guy. So, keep your eyes out, keep your ears open. We'll be letting you know how you can help in a minute. Keep your eyes on Nerdcrafty's YouTube. Keep watching here on Twitch. And we're going to have a link to our Discord. And that's going to go in our chat right here. You'll have links available to you. Yeah, come by, say hello, get some info. Yeah, there are open casting calls, and we would love to play some games with you. I will actually be running some of them. If any of you are fans of the channel, the YouTube channel Droppy, or the Twitch streamers, they do both. I've been running games of You Awaken in a Strange Place for Nerdcrafty for a while. And we're going to have some of those games come up pretty quick here. So, very heavily improvised. You don't need to have much experience, if any, playing tabletop role-playing games. You just have to be passionate, know how to yes and know just how to have fun, be creative, you know, come with big ideas and make them work, friends. You Awaken in a Strange Place is rules light, improv heavy, and meant to just be a fun, silly game that you play with people, your friends or comrades, what have you. So if you would like the opportunity to play with us, now is your chance. Check out those open casting calls and stay informed about what we're doing day to day. Yeah. I don't know if y'all can hear Sam at the moment, but Sam's saying, we are very open to constructive criticism. If you have, even if you don't have something positive to say necessarily, if you have a constructive criticism of something we could be doing better, somewhere we could improve, we would love that, frankly. Most of us have been performing for a significant portion of our lives, if not most of our lives, and stuff like that. We grew a thicker skin for that kind of for criticism a long time ago. There's not much you can say that'll hurt our feelings, and we couldn't use to make our content better. That's all we're trying to do, you know? We want to make art and entertainment that brings people joy, helps spread awareness to things we care about, showcases our passion and our ambition and our determination. Yeah, just want to make things that we enjoy making and that you could benefit from watching in some way or another. Whether that's just on a base entertainment level or on a much deeper level. Dang. Well, that pretty much did exactly what I wanted to do. I don't really need to futz with this too much more, I don't think. What I want to do is go... I'm so bummed because I'm going to have to go into this lovely background. This is a piece I started with my partner, and I know that a lot of this very light, very water-heavy kind of, almost watercolory kind of images in this background are a lot of their work. Now, I adore that stuff, but to try and make this piece kind of more definite, as well as like the composition stronger, this whole big area here isn't pleasing as a composition. I think this backline will probably stay as is for the most part. But yeah, drawing a little more definition into pretty much the rest of this area of the piece is kind of where I'm going next. I'm just not entirely sure what I'm doing. Part of a large theme of my work, pipes with nasty gook coming out. I did watch a lot of Captain Planet as a kid, in case you were wondering. It was one of my faves. Also, Pirates of Dark Water. I mean, Netflix, Hulu, whoever has rights to that, please let me know. I would love to do whatever you need me to do for Pirates of Dark Water to make it return. It's one of the coolest stories, and you never finished it! So, no, it's an inconclusive, like, okay. Pirates of Dark Water had, like, this whole, like, story arc it wanted to tell, and that got cut short because they got canceled midway through it. So it's not the satisfying conclusion I want for Pirates of Dark Water, nor is it the satisfying conclusion that it deserves. Pirates of Dark Water absolutely rips. And, yeah, I want to see it, thrive. I want to see it, rival the popularity of, Pirates of the Caribbean, which, in my opinion, is kind of ass. Keira Knightley, though. Actually, dang, maybe that'll be the next movie I watch. I have, if you've never seen Quills, Pirates of the Caribbean reminded me that Jeffrey Rush absolutely rules. And in the early 2000s did this movie called Quills, where he plays the Marquis de Sade, which I don't know if I can even talk about, honestly. But go look him up on Wikipedia. He's got a really interesting story. Not a very nice person, but definitely an interesting artist of the time and period for many reasons. Very controversial. Interesting person, though. And Jeffrey Rush absolutely crushes it. Joaquin Phoenix is in that movie. Kate Winslet, who always, I mentioned Keira Knightley, and she kind of always has reminded me of Kate Winslet. Like, no offense to either. Both are incredible and different people. I would never say that Hollywood makes clones of people. I would never say that. That would be an insane conspiracy. I would look mad if I said that Zac Efron was just Brad Pitt as a clone. That would be a crazy thing to say, wouldn't it? Could be. Oh yeah. Because it is the horror time of the year. I did say horror. Don't get me twisted. We're going to probably be talking about probably be doing some interesting specific program for the holiday season. Me and Sam were talking about doing a program where we discuss I mean, I was thinking about a totally different thing, but yeah, we were talking about doing I've been watching a lot of dating shows, right? And I don't know if any of you are currently dating or watch any of those shows, but I haven't been dating for like over a decade. Me and my partner have had our romantic partnership going for a long time. And so I have not been in the dating scene and have no idea what it was like. And then recently we started watching some reality dating shows just to, like have something kind of mindless to put on when we worked on art or whatever. And I didn't realize how bad it was, guys. I'm really sorry for anyone who is dating, but that sucks. People are awful, and I hate it. And I never really watched a lot of reality shows, so a lot of the history of all of that stuff was kind of lost on me. And then, like, shows that had come before now. But as soon as I started watching F-Boy Island, my perspective was, we need to talk about this. There is a lot of troubling things happening in these shows, and it doesn't seem like it's part of a larger, like, critical narrative around it. So that's something that we're going to be talking about soon as part of our programming on Nerdcrafty. We're going to be talking about reality dating shows and providing some, what I hope will be useful criticisms for some of the things that go on these shows that I was noticing, such as just utterly toxic dudes saying wildly inappropriate shit or doing wildly inappropriate shit while on like televised versions of first dates. I'm an actor, professionally, and I know that a lot of this stuff is performance. These shows, I know people who work on editing for some of these shows. Maybe we'll get them as guests or something, but I don't know if they might have NDAs and that might not be possible for them. But either way, it's really interesting knowing that some of this is performance. And some of it isn't. And that line is really difficult to kind of figure out where one ends and the other begins. It's kind of frightening, honestly. The amount of racial microaggressions people of color go through in these shows, even if it is for entertainment, is not okay. In a major way. And whether or not individual people are signing off on this kind of racial agitprop, it's not okay. Doesn't matter who said it was, it's not. That's just reality. It gives people a twisted and wrong-headed version of the reality in which we all live in and share. Yeah, I was appalled at the way that some, especially white men, talk about people of color that they are on dates with, to their face in some cases. It's something we're going to be covering, and I definitely have seen quite a few episodes of different shows where they talk, or they have like pickup artists do on their shows. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there are not many people I have more disdain socially for than douchebags like that. And part of that is that I was taken in by a lot of that stuff as a young kid. I was pretty socially awkward. I was small. I didn't have a lot of friends because we moved when I was pretty young. So moving into this new area between like my between 8 and 13, there was a lot of really weird stuff that people information that I was presented that luckily now I've been able to at least start to work on and learn a lot of those terrible ideas. But not everybody is as fortunate as I am. And I am desperate for people to learn more about the social dynamics of just of dating, of how to talk to people. I guess is something that is desperately needed now, because it's freaky the way that these people talk to each other. And you know, I think in some cases it is honestly and in some ways very transparently for television, but in other cases it is troubling, to say the least. Yeah, identifying a threat, that's an important first step. And if you don't think that pickup artists are a threat, I've got news for you, friend. Yes, absolutely. Because my producer points out that sometimes you could do a lot of that stuff, even if you've never encountered the social space of pickup artists or incels. And the reason that it's easy to participate in these ideas, even though you're not aware of the larger cultural movement, is that it's ultimately just basic patriarchal misogyny. These ideas aren't new because pickup artists didn't invent anything. They're just misogynist dorks. They just have a different set of rules, a different flavor. And yeah, unlearning or unpacking a lot of those ideas are difficult, because we live in a society that enforces that patriarchal identity on a lot of people who are socialized as men, and many women as well, and people all over the spectrum of gender. The idea that, and that's how you know it's not just an individual issue. It's not some people learning these behaviors individually. This is a cultural, social issue that we've been dealing with for generations, and has kind of been put off, and people learn it from their parents, who learned it from their parents, who learned it from their parents, etc., and on and on. And some people do some work to try and improve generationally, but some people don't. A lot of people don't, in fact. And that, my friends, is pretty, is why I want to do this kind of work. Because
I just want to point out that, like, it's so ingrained that there's a point where you're not even aware that that's what you're learning, because it's just what you see and how it has been.
Right. For a great example of this, well, actually, it's not that great an example, but Christopher Columbus Day was yesterday.
Indigenous
many of
Peoples
you-
Day.
Precisely my point. Because most of us, how many of you listening, maybe quite a bit more of you because of the people that we at Nerdcrafty bring in, but there's a whole lot of people who've never heard a lot of the historical evidence for why Christopher Columbus didn't discover anything, why he was a genocidal terrorist of people of color, of the Taino people, why the basic arguments against colonialism. Like, these are not things that we're taught and you have to seek this information out. Especially because of the way that social media works, you might never even have heard the phrase Indigenous Peoples Day. Although that is culturally where more and more people are headed with that holiday. It's less Christopher Columbus Day and much, much more a celebration, or not a celebration, but a...
I mean, first off, Christopher Columbus landed in Cuba. He landed in Cuba originally, everybody. And if you land somewhere and there are people there already, you didn't discover anything.
Precisely. Yeah. I'm sorry, where was I going with that? I was saying...
it was gonna be some kind of example of how things are, like, so entrenched in society that it's hard to see that this is, like, you're learning something that is detrimental to society in the long run.
Yeah, we'll be talking all about stuff like this on this new show we will have out for you in the next few weeks from Nerdcrafty. You'll probably see the first episode somewhere in November, if not later this month. But we're also trying to put together some specific holiday content, but Halloween content, which is my favorite holiday personally. But
this stuff is spooky, scary.
Yeah, we want to put out some spooky, scary stuff. I love that stuff, and I usually participate in the drawing prompts.
Inktober?
No, not Inktober. That guy's a racist.
Okay.
But you know, there's always a plethora of drawing prompts that happen around this time of year that I usually participate in one of them at least, and you know, just not enough time this year. But I still have the desire to make some seasonal content. So we're gonna have some other stuff coming out that's kind of Halloween flavored or in that genre coming out soon. We have a lot of new stuff coming out soon. Just like we've been saying, keep your eyes on Nerdcrafty.
Yes.
We aim to please.
All eyes on us, but also remember, we're very few people trying to make big things happen. So, give us time.
Marvelous point.
Unless you want to see people slowly go insane.
I mean, you're gonna see that here either way.
Well, okay, so less rapidly go insane.
Yeah, right.
We will less rapidly go insane if you allow us some time. We don't want to rush the process, I guess, is what we're saying.
Indeed. All right, folks. Well, I think I'm pretty much out of time, right?
Yeah, you got about 5 minutes to wrap up.
Great. Well, I'm wrapping up early.
Fair.
So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming out. Today was a very interesting physical art stream. I think I'm going to probably go back to digital next week. Hopefully I'll finish the commission I have for my aunt in our time off stream in the next week or so. And I would like to have some guests again for Live with Lava Sub. If you have a creative project or even some kind of creative project or content that you are creating that you think would fit with our vibe, if you think me and you would vibe, hit me up. Let's get a talk going. Let's schedule it in. Join the Discord. Get involved. All that good stuff. Again, I am Weston, aka Lava Submersible, but you can call me Flower if you want to. I just really like that line in Bambi. It's a true. Anyway, I was really happy to paint for you folks today. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and we'll see you. See you next week for sure. Take care, y'all.